So what we looked at the weekend is taken from Jin Shin Jitsu, which is a Japanese healing art with a few thousand years of history, and it's a laying on of hands kind of healing art, but it also involves a little bit like reflexology, points on the hands that correspond to certain areas of the body, and also the different fingers represent different human emotions. So we have kind of we start off with anger on the thumb, worries, fear and anxiety, sadness and grief, and pretense and effort. So that kind of the effort it takes to put on those masks that we hide behind in life. And it's so this one's about that kind of letting go of that pretense and the effort that it takes and allowing ourselves to be more our true selves. And through those are just the points that we're going to use with this. And the technique is very, very simple. And it doesn't, I'll explain it quickly and it won't seem like much as I explain it. But I use this now pretty well at the start of every single meditation session because it just does work and it's wonderful. So what we'll do with this, once we're ready to start, we'll take 3 deep breaths and then we'll settle into our natural rhythms, our natural breath. And we're just going to imagine, just picture, I think, Donna, you've done Reiki, I think, if I remember right. But any sort of energy just pouring in through the top of the head, down into our center, that point just below the navel, and charging ourselves up with a bit of that energy, circulating it through our bodies. And then what we do is we start initially with 2 fingers and we're placing them at the, this happens on your lap, by the way. You're not holding your hands up because that gives you an armache. This starts on the lap and you press very gently, not too hard, just rest your fingers into the center of the palm of the hand. That part of the hand is associated with joy and happiness. And we do that to set up for a meditation. We're only going to do that for maybe 30 seconds, a minute, before we move on. But especially if you've got energy and you're channeling energy as well, as you're doing that, you will notice everything from energy pulses to tingling to heat. In fact, I'm getting heat as I'm doing it now, just talking about it. So the idea is you just focus on whatever that is. But what I find lovely about this is the very tangible way that as you work through the process, you can literally feel stresses and worries just melting away. So we start on the palm, and I'll talk us through it when we do it. Then we move to the thumb, and Anne already knows this. And on the thumb, you put in your thumb pad of your one thumb palm, the pad of your one thumb onto the thumbnail of the other hand, and then just holding the underneath or the top pad with the 2 fingers that you were pressing into your palm. So you're not crushing it, you're just gently holding the thumb like that. And we'll do that for about 30 seconds, a minute. And then it's very simple. We just go through each of the fingers and really notice how each one feels. It's amazing. I find it amazing. Sometimes you'll hold the one finger and you'll feel an upwell of emotion. You'll feel a release within you. And it also, you'll find that you relax. And so we're going to work through both hands. Doesn't matter which one you start with, whichever one feels like the right one for you. About 30 seconds, a minute on each one. If you're doing this for yourself as a practice, if you do it for about 3 minutes per one whilst channeling energy, it really kind of levels stuff out. So de-stressing. You can almost feel it tingling as it runs off your back. It's wonderful. And it's a good overall emotional balancing practice that really does make a difference. During this, our breathing is just our normal breathing. You can, if you want, do a slightly slower, deeper breath, but it's not essential. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through that pattern. Oh, Sally's just arrived, so I'll recap. If I can recording. Okay. So yeah, so you work through the first hand and then basically switch through to the second hand. If you're doing this as your own practice, as your own thing, you can either do it just as the relaxation bit to get you into a nice state of mind for meditation, or you can do it as a standalone exercise, in which case the first part of this is called 36 conscious breaths. And for 36 conscious breaths, like everything we do, you get yourself comfortable. You basically give yourself a hug. So you're putting one hand under one armpit, one hand under the other, and your thumbs are resting on your chest, pointing up to your ears, basically. And holding yourself like that, you do as it says. You take 36 conscious breaths. So you're breathing in, following the breath all the way down into the pit of the stomach, and then following it back out. We're not going to do that bit today in our meditation, but that's something you can add on to this. So you're literally 36 conscious breaths like this, and just that alone, by the time you get to breath 36, sort of stresses, worries, you can almost you pretty well feel them kind of melting away already. It's a really nice technique. We're not going to use it today, but that's one that it's really easy and quick to explain. Once you've done your 36 breaths, you let your hands relax down, and then you just either go into your meditation, go into this second part, which is what we're looking at with the hand positions, or you kind of just get on with your day. But it's that's the 36 conscious breaths bit, which I'm not going to take us through because that's about 20 minutes in itself. But it's a nice technique if you want to put if you put that together with the finger technique and do 3 minutes on each finger, the whole process is about a 30-minute de-stress workout for yourself, which is really nice. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go into a meditation. I'm going to talk you through this at a nice pace, just hopefully long enough that you can start to notice with each finger, and pay attention with each finger. Notice the sensations. Sometimes you'll feel your finger pulse. Sometimes you feel like a tingle running all up your arms. Sometimes you'll feel like your fingertip gets cold. Sometimes it feels like it gets hot. It really changes and varies. But I've always found, even without doing the meditation, when I went for the interview for the job, which by the way they're starting me now on Monday, I was sat whilst I was there in their waiting room just doing this, because you can do it anywhere. No one's going to know what you're doing. It doesn't look silly or anything. But even without the close your eyes and meditation bit, it does start to relax you. It's just those are just energy points, pressure points that just start to take the edge off. It's really good. So I think that's clear. There's not much to it, but it is effective. So let's begin. Let's have a stretch, have a fidget, get comfortable. And when you're doing this, that you're not holding your hands up like this, they're resting comfortably on your lap. Or if you're lying down, maybe just on your stomach, wherever's comfortable. None of this is difficult, but it really is a lovely, lovely technique to know. And once you've done it once, you'll remember it. That's the beauty of it. Okay, so let's have a fidget, have a stretch, get comfortable. I'm just going to take a quick sip of that. I mean, talking lots today, so. And we'll begin by taking 3 deep breaths together. And you don't have to close your eyes on the first one and relax. You don't have to close your eyes on the second one and relax. But if you haven't done so by the third one, as you take that deep breath in, just allow your eyes to close and begin to relax. And I will talk you through the rest of this. So, breathing in, hold it, and breathe out. Breathing in, hold it, and breathe out. Breathing in, hold it, and breathe out. And just return to your natural breath. You can, with this, if you want, slow the breath down and take slightly deeper breaths. But when you're breathing, make sure you're breathing deep. Breathing down into the pit of your stomach, a couple of centimeters below your navel, Just taking that nice, following the air in and out with each breath. And there's nothing to do. Just relax, follow these instructions, and just be mindful as you go through all of this process, the different sensations and feelings as you let go. And to start off with, I want you to picture, imagine, however you do that, light, energy, coming in from the world around you, coming in out from the depths of the universe to you, to the crown of your head. A little bit like when we did the chakra work. Just imagine feeling that energy, however you see it. Some people might see it as a waterfall pouring down through their very center. That's a lovely image. Some people might see it like light or lightning coming down, or however you see that energy just coming in. And when you start to become aware, and I don't know when that happens for you, of the top of your head, where that energy meets the crown, just allow that sensation, that feeling, that sense of energy to just flow all the way down your center, all the way down that middle column, down past the heart center, all the way down past the navel, and just to a point, just picture it gathering and storing and brewing up and getting stronger just below, a couple of centimeters below the navel. And you may even begin to feel a tingling, like a center point in there, and that's really good if you can begin to notice that now. Just allowing that energy. It doesn't have to be strong, it can just be gently flowing. And then allow that energy to spin and circle within you. So as you're breathing in, you can bring it up the right hand side of the body. As you're breathing out, letting it back down the left hand side. Just getting that energy flowing. That's right. I don't know what that sense of energy is for you. But whatever that is, just allow it to continue. And now we're going to bring, it doesn't matter which hand you start with, but I want you to take the two fingers on one hand, the first two fingers on one hand, just gently place them into the palm of the other hand. And just rest them there. And as you do that, you'll kind of know if when you first do this, if you push a little bit harder, there's a point on your hand where it does feel a little bit springy, a little bit more tender. You don't want to push it too hard because it can be a bit uncomfortable. But just find that place. For me, it literally sits, it really is in the very center of the palm. When you get it, just rest your fingers there. Just imagine that energy that's coming down through you, flowing through you, then flowing out from your heart all the way down your one arm and into the other hand, and then back up and round, creating a circuit. And as you're sat there, we're just connecting that finger, just take some time and just be aware of how that feels now. Any sensations, but don't dwell on them, just acknowledge them. Just be with that sensation and that feeling of the palm resting in the fingers resting in the palm of the hand. Place of joy and happiness. Notice what happens to any tensions, any discomforts, any worries. Notice how your breathing may shift, becoming easier. Maybe you feel a tingling, maybe you feel a pulse type sensation. Just allowing the idea of that energy to flow from one hand to the other. And then slowly and gently move across to the thumb and take the tip of the thumb, two fingers resting on the pad of the thumb and your other thumb resting on the nail at the back. Just very gently holding that. Again, just pay attention to that point of contact. Notice what's going on there. As you imagine that energy flowing from one hand to the other. Notice your emotions. Notice any tensions just melting away. And when you're doing this for yourself, you may find that certain fingers, you just kind of get a feeling that that's done. You don't have to hold it anymore. But then another finger you might hold for longer. Just move across to the index finger. Again, just holding it gently at the tip. And I find that if I gently alter the pressure and where I'm placing it on my thumb, it creates different sensations and feelings. And there is a point where, as I move into it, I do feel a release. And you can begin to find that for yourself. And then gently moving to the middle finger. Again, just squeezing. Vary the pressure. Find that place where you begin to feel that releasing. I find different parts of my spine respond with a kind of tingling sensation when I do this. Just relaxing as you do so. Notice what's happened with your breathing. And again, notice any sensations, any feelings. So sometimes you just find a gentle release of a sense of emotion, just things getting lighter, getting easier. Moving on to the ring finger. Moving on to the little finger. Sometimes when I do this, I'll actually take hold of the whole finger because it just feels like the right thing to do at that time. And yeah, if ever you're doing this and it feels like the right thing to do, be intuitive with it. And then swapping hands, placing the two fingers on the other hand into the palm of the opposite one that you've been using. Switching over and running through that sequence again. Two fingers in the palm of the other hand. Be mindful of how your body responds, how your emotions respond, how your thoughts respond. That place of joy and happiness. Sometimes when I do this, the tips of my fingers get really, really hot against the palm. For me at the moment, there's kind of like a pulsing, but it's kind of going all the way up the fingers. Don't know what that is for you. And moving across, holding the thumb. And again, if you're doing this for your own session with your own timing, you may find that it feels right to hold one finger or thumb longer. But you do get a kind of sense of like, relax when it's time to move on. Moving to the index finger. To the middle finger. To the ring finger. To the little finger. Just a little bit longer. And then swapping over again, place the two first fingers of that hand back into the palm of the original hand you started. Making that connection, imagining that energy flowing from one hand to another. And as we work through this technique, Jin Shinjitsu says that we're releasing any blocks within our energy system, within our meridians, allowing the energy of the body to flow more freely, bringing more inner peace, harmony and balance. And then swapping over to the other hand, two fingers in the palm again. And then just to finish up, and it doesn't matter which hand does which, just gently hold your thumb. So your right hand might hold your left thumb, your left hand might hold your right thumb, whichever feels the right one for you. Just resting the hands and arms on the lap, and return again to your breath. Begin to follow the breath. Breathing all the way in, following that breath down on its route to below the navel and then back up again. And continue with that gentle following of the breath for a few moments longer, allowing the exercise you've just done to really work its magic for you. That's right. And I'm going to introduce a new breath technique. This one works really well, again, when you're working with that idea of moving energy within you, drawing energy in. And with this breath technique, as you listen to me describe it, you can continue to relax. With this technique, we breathe out very gently and very slowly. And you want to breathe out to the point where you've maybe got a couple of words left if you were to speak. So real slow breath out. Just through the nose. To the point where you feel like you could only say a couple of words before you ran out of breath. But then rather than a slow, deep breath in, we take a sharp, quick, deep breath in. And then do the slow, gentle release again. So it's very slow, gentle release. So you've emptied yourself almost of all the air. And then a quick before slowly releasing again. And with each in-breath, see yourself drawing that energy in really quickly and focusing it down in that spot below the navel. And then as you breathe out, gently release. Imagine that flowing, like warming, emanating out from that center and filling your body with that energy. So breathing in, out. And just focus on the out breath. And continue on with this breath for a little while longer. I do find this one takes a little bit more concentration than some of them, but you can do this. And as you know, if you lose the rhythm of it, that's okay, you just pick it back up. And each in-breath, breathing in, so the belly's expanding as you take that breath in. And slow release, squeezing every last bit of breath back out, almost, and then back in, filling your body with that energy, revitalizing, refreshing. A couple of more breaths. And then return to your natural breath. And to finish this meditation today while still holding, you can either carry on holding the thumb, or you may choose to place the 2 fingers in the palm of the hand again. Whichever's right for you, whichever you want to do. And just with your gentle, natural breath, I want you to first be aware of your awareness up in your head. That seat of consciousness, that seat of awareness. And then, just with your mind, just with your focus, start to ease that awareness down from the head, down through the center, down past the back of the nose, down past the mouth, down the throat, bringing that awareness down through the chest to the place of your heart, the heart center, heart chakra there in the middle of the chest. Just hold your awareness there for a moment as you continue to breathe on. And now start to ease that awareness down from the heart center, down to the hara, the center just below the navel. One of the 3 brains, one of the 3 minds of the Japanese system. You have 3 points of energy of consciousness rather than 7 like the Indian chakra system. So bringing that awareness down to a point within you, a point that's your center. You kind of know when you find it because you feel a point of balance. Just bringing your awareness down to sit in that point, in the hara, in the center below the navel. And just sit and be with your awareness at that center, still and calm as you breathe on. And maybe there's been something that's been worrying you or on your mind. Try and find it whilst keeping your awareness at that lower center. Try to feel the same way about it if you bring your awareness down to that point. Try to even worry about it at all. Begin to discover you cannot. Centered. And then just let go of whatever that was. Nice slow breath in, slow breath out. And then you can release your finger from the position in the center of the hand or your thumb. As you do that, just start to become aware of yourself, just in your own time, your own pace, just coming back to normal everyday awareness, everyday consciousness, being aware, more aware of the surroundings about you, the room about you, wherever you're sitting or lying. Just returning back now, being back here, back now. There's no rush for that. But when you are fully back now, Then you can have a stretch, have a fidget, and be here and be now. Feel good. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes